Welcome to the most entertaining YouTube channel on the planet. It's your boy, the one and only Hitman. Man, how you guys doing on this beautiful Tuesday evening, afternoon-ish? How y'all doing, man? Let's see what's on the topic of today's, what do you want to call it, rant, or what's the topic? Let's go over a few things. Let's go over a few things. Let's start with boxing. Let's start with boxing. And we're going to start with the heavyweight division. And what do I think about it? And what's going on? And, nothing. I mean, Tyson Fury is ruling the division. He can pick who he wants to fight. And I'm not mad at who he fights and how he chooses to make his money. Is he ducking any of the fighters by facing an MMA guy? No, he's not. Would I watch the fight? Of course. It's Tyson Fury. I like Tyson Fury. Will it be an easy night for him? Yes. Very easy night for him. So, I mean, you don't want to fatten his pockets, don't watch it. It's just that simple. That's one thing about it. Like, they're paid by our subscriptions or by buying the fight. You don't like it? Go to somebody else who bought it and watch it there. You don't got to buy the fight. You ain't got to tune in. Hey, it's all you got. It's your choice. So, who else? I got Usyk versus Dubois. That's an interesting fight. Usyk will win on points. Usyk will, move around, southpaw. Dubois lost to the Juggernaut. So, that'd be an interesting match. Interesting fight. You got the Chinese dude. I do not know his name, but he's the one who beat the Juggernaut. Who else is there? What is the name of the dude, the Juggernaut? His name is Joe Joyce. Juggernaut Joe Joyce. So the Asian guy, Chinese guy, I don't know which one. I don't know. I think he's Chinese. He beat Joe Joyce, and Joe Joyce had a very big upside as far as like title contentions, and he lost it. And he lost it predicating on his chin. I saw the fight. He was taking too many unnecessary shots because he wants to be able take your best shot, but it kind of like you don't need to take those shots. What he did, he lost, and so back to the drawing boards for him. But so those guys are stuck where they're at. We got Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder. That's not official yet. My take on that fight, Andy Ruiz, if he comes in shape as like he was when he fought Anthony Joshua in shape, just that type of shape right there, or better. The first Anthony Joshua fight, not the second, the first. If he comes in that shape, that mindset to go get a title, he'll win. Because he's going to make Wilder punch down. Wilder has not punched down since Stiverne. And Stiverne 1 was a very good close fight, which Wilder edged and won. Second fight, he knocked out Stiverne. But I believe Andy Ruiz will be in way better shape than Bermane Stiverne. Like, come on. Andy Ruiz has a way better pedigree, way better resume. And I think that's a fight. That is an actually make or break fight for Deontay Wilder. Because if you can't beat Andy, he's not. Andy belongs in the top echelons of the fighters. You know what I'm saying? So I like that fight. I don't like Deontay Wilder's chances. If Andy is sloppy, then 8th round, Andy will get knocked out. But if Andy comes in shape, it should be no cake. It should be easy for him. Canelo versus Charlo. That's a Canelo fight. It's tailor-made. They're both tailor-made for each other. The style of the fight is made for each other. Charlo needs an opponent to stand there so he can throw punches at him and kind of bully him and try to oppose his will and strength and tenacity over him. And Canelo needs a guy that's going to throw punches so he can counter and sit in the pocket and counter. So they're tailor-made for each other. If the fight's at 168, that's a Canelo fight because that's putting on more weight for Charlo. I don't know where that fight is going to be at. If it's at 160, I still go with Canelo. That makes him even more in shape because he's a 168 fighter. So just the lesser weight you cut, the more in shape you will be. The faster you are, So if it's 168, it's Canelo. It's Canelo all around. I don't see Charlo winning that fight because Charlo does not have the boxing skill to be able to beat Canelo. You need some type of agility to beat Canelo. Look at how Lara gave him problems, Trout gave him problems, and Bivol gave him problems. Because of Mayweather gave him problems. We're speaking about Canelo because they didn't stand in the pocket and stay in the pocket to be hit. Charlo will stay in the pocket and get hit, and that's a cash fight for Charlo. He's gonna make a lot of money on this fight. He's gonna make a lot of money fighting Canelo. He could have fought Canelo earlier at 154. They ducked both of the Charlo brothers. There's 2 Charlos that should have fought one Canelo. One or one. There's 2 opportunities and neither one of them took it. That's called a duck to me. I don't care. They're both at 154 and they're all in the same division. And they're having these packs. Oh, we can't fight people from, like you had Lara and Camp with them, the Charlos, and they didn't want to fight. So that's 3 fighters in the same division that basically are not giving the fans the best of the best fights because they don't want to fight each other. But Canelo beats Lara, and then Charlos are nowhere to be found after that. They didn't try to fight him, nothing. So it is what it is. That's a Canelo fight. They ran from him at 54. Keep running unless you want to get paid. So that's that fight. You got Spence versus Earl. You got Earl Spence versus Bud Crawford. That is a 50-50 fight. If this was Spence before the car accident, I would definitely go Spence all day. I will go Spence all day. Since the car accident, he's been looking suspect. He looked suspect against Danny Garcia. He looked suspect against Ugas. Now Ugas gets a little props. Ugas he's a big welterweight. I didn't understand how big Ugas was until I saw him versus Spence. That was a great fight. Too bad Ugas has, I don't know, not enough head movement for a 147 fighter. And he just got busted up. But, see, that was a good fight. And they shouldn't have stopped it when they stopped it. They could have let Ugas go out. Because that's a title, that's a unification fight. You got to let those guys damn near die in the ring. Because that's what they're fighting for in the first place. Because they're fucking fighting for belts to get paid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want them to die in the ring. But you just want that, like, okay, we're going to let you guys go. You guys, when the title fights like that, bro, you got to, like, people are killing themselves in the gym to make it to these heights. And you just throwing, unless a team throwing a towel or something, like, I don't think a referee should step in on that unless a doctor steps in. But other than that, they stopped the fight. It was a great fight. I don't necessarily think it was close, but I would edge it 116, 112 to Spence if it went to the decision. It was close because you can really score that knockdown You can score that a knockdown for Ugas in the 6th to 10th round, whatever round that was, when he thought he got his teeth knocked out. But it was entertaining. It was a very entertaining fight. Rock'em sock'em right there. Now, what do I think about Bud? Bud is a tailor-made 147 fighter. He's been a 147 fighter as far as his size. Like, he's going to fill into the 147 perfectly fine. He's going to not rehydrate. He's going to be like Mayweather, who can sit at the weight and be comfortable with not worrying about rehydration. And he's going to have a lot of gas in the tank. I don't really see Bud fatiguing as much. And what I did when I sparred a lot, because I do switch southpaw, when I got tired, I went southpaw. So I don't know if that's a thing with Bud. If he starts switching, I would indicate that as being fatigue. Because I'm not saying I'm on Bud's level or anything like that, but I tend to, when I'm fatigued in orthodox, I tend to go southpaw. Because it's giving the opponent a new look and different angles, and it's going to make them cautious. Because they get kind of gauged when you're tired if you're stuck in the stance, like you're not as active, you know what I'm saying, and shit's just not coming out right when you're fatigued. So when you give them that different look, it's like, oh, he went southpaw. Oh shit, like, you giving them something to think about as you're gaining your breath. So I did that a lot in sparring. I would go southpaw, and that was because I was tired. So I think Bud doesn't do that, but I can identify that as being tired. But what I do know is that when Bud goes southpaw, his jab is strong as all hell, because that becomes his right hand, which is in front. So when he knocks a guy down like he did, I can't think of his name. He knocked him out basically with a jab in the southpaw stance. Kell Brook, dude, that's a fucking right hand at the end of the day. So, but the fight, I like the fight. It's a undisputed unification fight. I feel two ways about it. I feel Earl's gonna win the fight and move on, because he becomes undisputed and there's nothing left for him at 147. So he can move on. And I think Crawford can lose this fight and still capture undisputed after Spence moves on. Because it isn't like Bud's going to lose. Bud loses, oh, where is he going to go? You know what I'm saying? He can stay at 147, let Spence move out the division, relinquish all the belts, and then capture all the belts. Because then, at the end of the day, Bud would be probably the best welterweight left if once Spence leaves, if that is the case. I can see something like that happening. That's why Bud doesn't want a rematch clause, because if he does lose, like, it's all gain after that. You know what I'm saying? I don't see Bud going up to 154. I don't see, he can entertain some fights, maybe do some catch weights at that weight. I don't really see him going up that high. So it is what it is with that. But as far as Earl can go all the way up to 160. He's sparring Charlos. He's sparring, light heavyweights. So Earl can really go up. But as far as the fight, like I said, I have two ways to look at it. But since it's this Earl Spence Jr. post-accident, I'm going to edge it slightly to Bud. Like, Earl Spence is going to have to maul him to get him up out of there. Looking at past opponents, what he did to Kell Brook, speaking of Bud Crawford, what he did to Kell Brook and what he did to Sean Porter, those were two magnificent stoppages. And I don't care what excuse anybody wants to use. He didn't train right. Nigga, it doesn't matter. He trained 8 weeks for this fight. He's the champion. And you're talking about you didn't train right? We're not using excuses for that. Like, they pulled the plug because Bud was going to knock him out. Or, when if since it was gonna be Sean Porter's last fight, he should have just went out. So his father saved him from going out historically bad. That's why they stopped the fight at the end of the day. Like, he wasn't gonna beat Bud, period, no matter what shape he was in. But he wasn't gonna beat Bud. I think Bud can beat this version of Errol Spence. He can. And he will. I think he will. And there's no knock to Errol Spence. I think Spence is saying he wants to fight Canelo and all these big guys. That car accident and shit fucked him up. Because if he's dropping his guard thinking his teeth got knocked out for whatever against 147 fighters with Ugas, Danny Swift Garcia, and when they get bigger, they just hit harder. Like, so to me, it's like, I think this will be the last fight for Errol Spence if he loses. Because it's really too much risk at the end of the day going up in weight when he's having and showing the problems now at welterweight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he could fight. He's a great fighter, but that accident took some years off of him. Like, he almost lost his life and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I know he's thankful. So, but that's where I think Bud gets that edge. Let's move on. Let's move on down. Let's keep going. And then there's a lot of other welterweights that are coming up. Like, there's some guys coming up. I'm not about to sit here and act like I know everybody damn name in boxing just to support and give you so you guys can like my material. No, I'm gonna speak on who I know and what I know. Like, I ain't kissing ass for nobody, so might as well go somewhere with that. But there's a little bit of buzz generating in the welterweight division, and it's gonna be after Spence's leaves, because those guys are going to be problems. They're going to be problems. But let's move on down to the, 140? Where you got Rolly, who was gifted a belt. Loma, who was gifted a belt. But it was a good fight. Loma beat the post undisputed at 140. But that fight didn't even look right. Like, I don't know. Like, that dude was sitting on the couch somewhere and you know, like, I ain't making excuses for him. That fight didn't look like a 140 fight. Like, damn, this is like, you know, so I don't know if he has belts or that, like, I don't know what's going on with that. I think Tio has a belt. I'm not so sure. Ryan Garcia, Ryan is at 140 now. There's really no fights there. Rolly. Ryan just got it. Ryan has no footwork. Bro. Like, I don't know. Ryan has no footwork, and he's not a counter puncher. He's tall and lanky. So I understand why he left Canelo camp, because it's just not tailor made for his size. Like, he will be a taller fighter when most of the time Canelo's a shorter fighter, and Frank's. It will be a smaller heavyweight. So they're not going to be the taller fighter a lot of the times in their matches. So that style doesn't fit Ryan Garcia. He was just trying to be around champions at the end of the day, which is commended, but it's not tailor-made for him. I think where he is now in Texas is good for him, because Spence is a taller fighter. Charlo's and, you know, the Charlo brothers are taller fighters and will be taller fighters in a lot of their matches, or same height. So I think that's a good spot for him now, where he is. But we'll just have to see how it goes. So he's going to probably take 2 months of training before he even entertains a fight anyway. So let's talk about Devin Haney. And, I mean, he's the guy with all the belts. You can't talk about any other division besides the guy that has all the belts. Who should he fight? I mean, at the end of the day, he has all the belts. He shouldn't fight nobody at 135. He should be looking to move up. Like, if I see no fight for him at 135, even mandatories, for what? For what? that's all for a chance for him to lose at the end of the day. Now, before he got all the belts, he was trying to fight everybody and calling a lot of people out, and you know, they didn't knock down. They didn't answer the door when he calling him. He knocking on the door. Yo, Tank here. Oh, I'm down at 130. I'm not at, you know what I'm saying? Tank at 130. Tank fighting at 140. I'm not 135. So Haney should move up. If I'm Haney, I'll move up and fight Rolly. Take out Rolly. Or fight Tio. Like, he has first dibs on Rolly or Tio. Rolly better pray. Well, I mean, I like the Rolly and Devin fight. Because this is why. This is why I like the Rolly and Devin fight. Okay, let's put 3 fights out there. 4. Devin Haney has a choice of Tank at 135, Shakur at 135, right? Those are 2 135 fights. Maybe even Pitbull, right? 135. When he can look at, because he has all the belts. He's not going to rematch Lomachenko. That shit's done with. Let's look up ahead at 140. He has Ryan Garcia. That doesn't make sense because he doesn't have a belt. He just came off a loss. So that wouldn't happen. And he's with the new trainer, Derek James. That's not happening, right? Okay. So Tio. Rolly. Which one out of all those fights, which one actually makes sense and which one would sell? I don't want to... Honestly, Tio would sell because you get the black and Dominican fight. Tio and Rolly because you get the black and Mexican. I don't think he's Mexican. I think he's Dominican as well. You know, you get that. You get that Italian style versus black fight rivalry going. That's going to make the most money versus him and Shakur, because Shakur at the end of the day is not even a mandatory. Shakur is calling out the guy who went out and did all this work to become undisputed, and now you want to call me out. Like, that's not... No, nigga. You go walk. You go take your slow pace and go get you a fight somewhere else. So if you're going to call out anybody, if Shakur should call out anybody, he need to call out Tank. Because does Tank deserve to have a fight with Haney? I could say yeah. Yeah, let's say yeah. So Shakur need to call him out, the nigga that actually has a chance to fight Haney. But no, would he do that? No, he wants to try to overstep and fight. Like, don't do that. You haven't even been in the division long enough to call anybody out at the end of the damn day. Like, you only been in the division 2 years, if that, and you trying to call out the undisputed champion. Like, okay, when Lomachenko was undisputed champion, were you calling Lomachenko out? No, you wasn't. When Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko, was you calling him out? No, you was not. When Camboso beat Teofimo, was you calling him? No, you wasn't calling none of those dudes out. Then he loses to Devin Haney. You want to call Devin Haney out? Like, how you go from calling out Devin Haney, who beat the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy, but never called none of those guys out? But then won't call out Tank, who actually, if anybody does have a shot, should be Tank. But you won't call Tank out to take his shot to get your shot. You want to just step in front of the line. No, that shit don't work. So if I was Haney, I will go up and fight Rolly, or I will go up and fight Teofimo and try to get a belt. Those 2 fights there, because you didn't capture everything at 135. There's really, what the fuck are you still there for? You know what I'm saying? Unless you want to defend it once, that's fine. It's cool. Fight Tank. Shakur it's not even work. I seen the sparring. It was terrible. You walked him in sparring, and that's when he was a gold medalist, and that's when he had a belt at the lower weight class, and this and this and that, and you was dog walking him in sparring. Like, hey, what's the point of fight? It's a win-win for Earl. Not Earl. That's a win-win for Shakur. Anybody got time for giving out nigga win-wins? No, fuck that. Go fight Rolly. Now, the reason why Rolly would be a great fight is because of 2 things. Rolly can't take a punch. He can't take a straight left from an unorthodox fighter. Well, hey, Haney is an orthodox fighter, and people think he has no power. Rolly actually has dynamite and probably has some power to be able to put Haney down if it was the case. He has a belt. So that makes that fight 50-50 because, will Haney just stop Rolly? No, I don't think so. I think it will go by the decision. And if it goes by the decision, that means Rolly has a chance to knock some fire into Haney to actually retain and actually beat him. But would that happen? No, Haney would easily win. But the fact that the fight is interesting is because people have knocks on Devin Haney saying he can't take it. Well, he can take a punch, right? He can take a punch, but he has no power. So that makes that a good fight because it seems like it would be a 50-50 fight. Okay, well, this guy can't take a punch from southpaws, but he's not fighting a southpaw. And on top of that, the guy doesn't have punching power. But he does have punching power. He could knock some fire into Devin Haney. Like, who would not tune it? Like, that would be a good fucking fight. Teofimo Lopez, on the other hand, at 140 Devin Haney, I think Devin Haney is too big. Like, he would just outbox Teofimo. I like the fight. That fight is a lot better. But like Rolly said before in an interview, like, Teofimo is like really going through some shit. He's retiring, unretiring. He don't know what to do. He's saying this about black fighters. He's saying this about Top Rank. He's saying blah, blah. Like, he's just all over the place. But I mean, if it's enough to make some money, shit, nigga, make some money. You know what I'm saying? But I like the Teofimo fight. That's a good fight. I'm trying to see how big is... Dude, you know who else is another big fighter that I didn't think was big? Kambosos. Dude is almost like 6 feet at 135. Could be like 5'8", 5'9". Almost 6 feet, right? He's big. Like, those guys moving up to welterweight is going to be actually really, like, the welterweight division has some hitters in there, man. It will once the lightweights move up. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tank is only 5'5", bro. He's not moving up. Like, Tank can only reach 140, if that. Like, you see how... That's why Tank is taking his time just surveying the land, because he really doesn't have nothing to fucking do. I don't even know why people even think and have this... Dude, he's only 5'5". He's barely taller than... What's the dude's name? Oh, the Cuban Tyson? Fuck. I used to watch him. Oh my God, I can't think of his name. He's barely taller than him. But anyways, Tank, see, that's why Tank can't move how he want to move, because his height is a hindrance. You know what I'm saying? Like, looking at him and Ryan, like, bro, if Ryan would have just stayed long and just stayed with reach, he would have lasted a lot longer, but he kept going forward to the shorter fighter who's going to punch. It's easier to punch up than it is to punch down. As you can see, all Ryan left hooks were just missing because Tank was actually a lot shorter than, you know, his waist mobility was making him a lot shorter. So Tank is tapped at 140, so he's not in a rush to jump to 140. He's going to do a lot of catch weights because he can't go up that high. He really can't. That's too big of a disadvantage. So why are you even gravitating to a fighter that has limitations like that? Because he's not a Manny Pacquiao style of fighter. Manny Pacquiao can move up. Like, the training and the regimen is completely night and day different. You know what I'm saying? So Manny Pacquiao probably can go back down to 135, bro, and whoop all those dudes. You know how fast he is at 147? He's going to 135, 140? Pacquiao? Like, no, hell no. Like, hell no. That'd be crazy. So, I mean, why are you Why you like? There's nobody at 135. Once Devin Haney leaves and Ryan Garcia already left, Teofimo left. I'm not even gonna put Rolly in there, but he can be in there. He left. Like once those, Shakur is trying to wait and see what people doing so he can go call out. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, call a nigga out, call him out straight up. Like, I don't know. Like, there's really nothing at 135, and y'all calling Tank the face of boxing. He's not the fucking face of boxing. The heavyweight champion who has all the belts or the majority of the belts at heavyweight is the face of boxing. Because it's the face of boxing, so that means it's all the divisions. You want the nigga that's going to whoop everybody ass. I want the heavyweight champion. That is the face of boxing, because the heavyweight champion can beat the cruiserweight, light heavyweight, lightweight, junior middle, fucking super middle, all the way down to bantam. The heavyweight champion is going to beat all of them. That's the motherfucker who the face of boxing is. That's who's going to want to, that's who everybody's going to want to see, because those are all guaranteed, majority of the time, knockouts. Like these kids, well, not kids, but these people at the lower weight classes are NASCAR. I mean, athletes, athletic motherfuckers. You ain't gonna see too many knockouts in unification bouts. You're not seeing too many of those knockouts. So that's why a lot of those fights they want to call them robberies, because they go to the decision, they go to the scorecard, because those guys are in fucking shape. I mean shape. And they can duck and dodge a lot longer. Those heavyweight fights, they'll be knockouts the majority of the fucking time. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, face of boxing. So, they have too many divisions. They have too many belts. The 4 major belts, that's all that matters at the end of the day. And so, we going to see who can get it. So, those are all my hot takes and what I think about the division and everything like that, or each division, or the sport of boxing and where it's at right now. I think it's in a good place. These guys are scared to fight each other, to lose that O at the end of the day. And they need to stop that. Oh, you got Anthony Joshua fighting Dylan White again. That's a tune-up. That's a tune-up fight for the Derrick James collaboration with Anthony Joshua. That's all it is. Because even in their press conference doesn't even make sense. Like, they're not even mad at each other. They're, you got one guy talking about purity and this and that. You got another guy talking dumb shit. Like, there's no, like, they know what this fight is for. There's really nothing. Like, Dylan White loses, he gains nothing. Well, he loses everything at the end of the day if he loses. If he wins, what does he really gain? Because people are going to still think that Anthony Joshua is still off of the Usyk loss, which he lost twice. And he could have just bullied Usyk. Like, you're the bigger fighter. You don't go fucking 12 rounds with a guy you small. You go put hands on that nigga. Like, and if he knock you out, let him. Okay, well, he caught you with some shit. Keep your fucking hands up. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? He should have, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. Like, what I will know is this. What I do know is this. Anthony Joshua changed his fighting style when he got hurt, when he lost to Ruiz. Because nigga no mas. He no mas, bro. When he got knocked down and the referee was like, "Are you okay? You good?" And he was like, he tried to act like he up and shit. Like, what do you mean? Why are you stopping it? Nigga, bro, if you was ready to go, you come out that fucking corner, bro. Like, you coming out that corner mad, and they stop the fight because you were gonna get stretched. You was gonna get stretched. Now, Usyk does not have the power or the quickness of Ruiz. So why the fuck are you trying to box a guy that don't even have the power? Like, why are you, like, he doesn't have the power to hurt. He might be able to catch you with some left shit to get you dazed, right? But he shouldn't be able to put you on your ass. You know what I'm saying? Ruiz put you on your ass. So that's a different type of power. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so you get hit with some shit you don't see, but you still up, you can fight that fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've sparred Johnny Rice, who's a nice contender right now. I think he's trying to fight. I can't remember who he's trying to fight. You know what I'm saying? I sparred Johnny Rice. I sparred Dominic Brazil. I sparred who else I sparred? Chris Arreola. I sparred some Russian dude. I can't think of his name. I sparred a lot of people. Gerald Washington, Prince Charles Martin. I got a lot of people that I sparred with, you know, when I was in LA and everything. So, but I got hit by Johnny Rice, and it was a thumper. Like, it made me think about like what the fuck going on, but it didn't hurt me to where like I'm like, oh shit, I'm asleep, or oh shit, I'm going down, or oh shit, you know what I'm saying. So when you get hit with a nigga shot, yeah, it puts shit in perspective. But you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. If you get to that, it wasn't that bad shit while you're recovering. Okay, you kind of know like this motherfucker really can't put me down. So Usyk knocking out Anthony Joshua? No, like you can fight fire with that type of like. That's what should have been said in your corner. You can fight fire with that guy. He can't knock you down. He might stun you. He can't knock you down though. But if you catch him on the exchange, you gonna sleep him. Okay, now when you fight Ruiz, you can't do that. Don't fight fire with fire. You saw what the fuck Ruiz did. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you don't do that. But there's certain people like Chris Arreola who can fight fire with fire and take those chances. It worked for him, but it didn't work for him, and he ended up losing in the decision, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, like, for Anthony Joshua, when he goes against Dillian Whyte, can he fight fire with fire? Because he was on some shit when he fought him, the first time. And Dillian Whyte has been through some trenches, bro, through some wars. You know what I'm saying? Like, your body remembers those punches, and if Anthony Joshua can't muster up the punches that knocked Dillian Whyte out, like from the Gypsy King and the other Russian dude, I can't think of his name, and then the fights he had with Doughboy, I can't think of that nigga's name, bro. I can't think of a lot of these niggas' names, bro. It's too many of them. The guy that wears the fucking thing on his face every fucking with the fucking he's fucking great. He's from Britain too. He used to always go back and forth with David Hay. What the fuck's that dude's name? Y'all know who he is. Put his name in the comment section at the bottom. You know who I'm talking about. Like, Dillian Whyte has been through some shit. You know what I'm saying? So Dillian Whyte has just at the end of the day reached the top and just failed. Like, if he can, I think he can knock Anthony Joshua out. But see, Anthony Joshua was probably gonna first couple rounds probably try to drag him to deeper waters and try to knock him out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I see. He has my boy training him now. We're talking about Dillian Whyte. Buddy McGirt, Buddy McGirt is over there trying. Man, hey, bro, I miss you, buddy. Shout out to Buddy and shit like that. And if these guys need some work, bro, I would definitely be out there and fucking mix it up with you guys. I'm dead ass serious. Like in Texas, I'll be in Texas, nigga. I do want to spar Anthony Joshua. I do want to spar Dillian Whyte. I would love to spar Dillian Whyte. He don't look that big, but he looks big. But he's not that big. But shit, man. The fight game is cool. You know what I'm saying? The fight game is really cool, and is if these guys just stop worrying about they O, like a lot of the black fighters worrying about they O, bro, they gotta let that shit go. Like, fight your fights, bro. You know what I'm saying? And because you don't see all these other fighters losing and stepping back up and cleaning up and fixing whatever it was and getting back on the horse, bro. Like, y'all looking like some people who battle a little bit of adversity and y'all running from it. Like, y'all got to stop that. So I think I'm gonna close it off on that at the end of the day. So, but I mean, hope you guys are ready for the fights that are coming up. I'm excited for the Spence and Bud Crawford fight. I'm excited for the Usyk and Dubois fight. I don't mind seeing the Anthony Joshua versus Dylan White. I just want to see the outcome of that fight and where they go. I can't wait to see Joe Joyce, see what he does. I don't even think he's doing a rematch clause versus the Chinese dude for sure. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Niggas get knocked out of the heavyweight division who y'all thought was nice, and they not nice. Y'all be following the wrong boxers, bro. Like, I don't see how people be following Tank, and Tank is only tapped out at certain divisions. Like, he can't even, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude is literally lightweight. Adrian Broner was literally lightweight. Like, Adrian Broner could not go. Adrian Broner went up to welterweight and exposed. Just can't do it. It's too short. It's too short. Little legs, too big of a torso with them little legs, man. So shit. But it's good to see them people out there, man, getting their money at the end of the day and fighting and giving me something to be inspired to at the end of the day, bro. They all role models in a certain extent, you know, let you know that hard work does pay off. And not role models as far as what they do and everything, but hard work does pay off. They're role models for that right there. Hard work does pay off. And then they're type of role models to be like shit that you don't do, like keeping it real going, keeping it too real, and it goes wrong on your ass. So I mean, they're just, you know, so there's a lot you can learn from those guys at the end of the day, and choose your path and walk of life and take things from them to inspire yourself to be and do what you are destined to become, man, and get out there and do it at the end of the fucking day. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. We'll probably get some game footage going in a little bit. I don't know. We might. I haven't played the game in a minute, man. I don't know. So but I'm gonna check out. I'm gonna check you guys out on the next time. We up out of here.